Welcome to Wild and Worthy, the podcast. We're your hosts, Elise.
I'm Zoe.
And together we unpack the wild ride called life and show you how worthiness is the stability you need.
This is your place where we keep things relatable and tame any unhinged behaviours. So buckle in and let's get wild and worthy together.
Welcome back to episode 6. We're going to talk all things mindset this week. Elise, it's great to be back again. And first things first, I know you tasked me with testing the woolly sourdough, which I finally got around to. And
Yay.
I get the hype and I also don't get the hype.
You just like the plain Jane white sliced.
Well, I'm not really a toast bread person. So for me, I'm not like a bread and butter lover.
You're missing out, Zoe.
I know. Anyway, I did try it. It was like I give it a 5 out of 10.
Oh my God, my heart. And also I'm totally fine with it because it's just more for me.
Yeah.
Yay.
I'm happy to leave all of that to you. We're going to get into wins and whinges. So my win is that I'm starting to see a lot more money come into my bank account recently, which I'm obsessed with. And it's also at a point where I'm like, okay, I'm getting more weekly income.
Yay.
Now what do I do with it all? And I feel like I'm like, I need to go shopping. Obviously I don't. It can sit in the bank and it's fine. But it's now having an abundance of money and kind of like, now what? Like now what's the goal? Now what do I want to buy? What's the thing that I'm working towards? So I do have a few things on my wish list there that I'm working towards. And then my whinge is that I got my nails done. I like to always maintain myself and keep my nails done. But working with horses and cattle again, they lasted like 5 days.
Dang.
So I have one nail left. And that's
Lucky you got
all
the
I
money
really
to
have
get them
whinge
done
about.
again.
Well, that's right. Absolutely. What about
Maybe
you?
you
What's
could-
your wins and whinges?
Yeah, maybe you could open up a nail salon.
No, I don't think I could do that.
No. Great. Okay, great. So my win and whinges for this week. So I'm going to go whinge first. So I've been traveling the last week and have caught 4 planes over the last week. And my whinge is that why do they say final call for boarding from Sydney to Adelaide? This is your final call. And then you go final call and then there's a full lineup of people. Like, it takes me 15 minutes to even get from the gate onto the plane and it's like final call, like it's an emergency. And it's like, mate, I could have just read another 5 pages of my book, or I could have grabbed a coffee or a donut or something. It's not final call. That's my whinge. Like, they make it out to be some big emergency, like get to your seat. And then you sit on the tarmac for another 20 minutes. Like, oh my God, planes, like get your act together.
They make it sound like an emergency so that all the people actually start to move towards the plane.
I know. Anyway, it's just frustrating, right? A little frustrating things. That's my whinge this week. My win, however, is firstly, I saw you in person. Yay.
Yes, you were back on the Gold Coast, which is very exciting when we get to be in person together.
Yay, back on the GC, baby. So we had a little brunch date, which was cute. Went to the beach. And then I spent 8 days on the Gold Coast supporting over 60 students to complete their integrated NLP certification. And this is really great because we're going to talk more about NLP in today's episode. We're going to talk more about mindset. We're going to talk more about communication. And what does this all mean? Because I feel like we've kind of dropped a few little seeds and bits and pieces, and I've spoken into what I do. Yet I think it's really great that we get to talk about it more. Because I know we've had a few people reach out to us being like, oh, some things you've said have really resonated and you allowed me to see things from a whole new perspective that I've never seen things from before. So we thought,
That's
great.
been so exciting to hear that feedback from our listeners.
Exactly. And so we thought, great, why don't we have a little, I guess, educational podcast today so you, the listeners, can learn something new and also just perhaps bring in some new awareness into your life and also hear from my perspective and from Zoe's perspective how we personally have changed our life and have integrated these new learnings, because the new learnings have actually changed both of our lives. It's not about just
Oh,
hearing the thing
absolutely.
and then just leaving it on the shelf. It's all about how you can integrate it into your life. So, yay. So that was my win, being up
Yay.
on the Gold Coast, supporting over 60 students to get their certification to become a mindset coach or work with NLP. So,
Yay,
shall we
that
get
is
into it,
so
Zoe?
exciting. Yeah, how exciting. Tell me firstly, because we haven't actually caught up. I was like, wait, I'm going to wait until we're recording this episode. How was it? I saw some of the clips on social media and it looks like such an incredible environment to be in. Everyone looks so hyped up. The energy looks intense. Tell us, like, give us a recap on how your week was.
Yeah, absolutely. So, integrated NLP training. So, for those of you that have no idea what NLP is or isn't, because I didn't years ago, NLP stands for neuro. So, neuro is the mind, linguistic is language, and P stands for programming. And programming is all about the programs and beliefs that you run your life through. So, NLP training basically approaches your mind, your language, communication, and your programs and beliefs. And in this training, it's 7 days long, and it really is a transformational training for you personally. So I think something like 90% of people that do this training go for their own personal development. They don't go to become a mindset coach. It really
Okay.
is a week-long experience to unravel any limitations that are holding you back, any Nancy narratives, any beliefs that you're holding on to that aren't serving you, and then to rebuild you with the beliefs and programs and emotions and states that you actually want to live by. And it's a
Yeah.
full integration. And it uses both the masculine and the feminine energy. There's a beautiful breathwork experience. There's some women's work. And it is really hard. So it was my fourth time in the room assisting. So I have been through the room through NLP prac training, and then I did my master practitioner training. Yet this was my fourth time assisting. And every time I'm in that room as an assistant, I learn something new about myself because I'm at a different level and just something just resonates differently. And it's like, oh, yes, I get that. Now I can apply it in my life. And so it really is. I think everyone should do it in life. Like
Yeah.
every person should go do this training, not to become a mindset coach. And if you want to do that, yay. Yet just for their own personal development and level up. Because it really
Yes.
is like
See,
it literally
knowing
changes
that
your life.
information. Yeah, knowing that information now myself, because I know you've said to me a couple of times, like, are you going to do it? And I'm like, no, because I don't know if I'm really in that space that I want to be a mindset coach. I know how life changing this work is. However, my personal career goals are a little different to that. But knowing that I can
Yeah.
go just for my own, I'm like, okay, we're definitely going to have to come back and look at this and,
Yeah.
start working towards, attending.
Yeah. Put it on the goal list, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
That's
so
where I
the
can
beautiful
spend all
thing
my
is,
money.
yeah, that's you got the money now.
Yeah,
So the
that's it. No
beautiful
excuses.
Yeah. The beautiful thing is that so I've done this training, and what you experience in the room is also what you experience if you work with me, yet just on a one-on-one capacity and over a longer period of time. And so
Yeah.
I'll drop some information about this particular training in the show notes. And if you want to know any more information specifically about the training, send us a DM on Instagram. Yeah, I'd love to get into today's app around mindset and NLP and communication, because I feel like for
Yeah.
you, Zoe, when we work together, it really has
Mm.
changed your life around some of the learnings and the tools and the techniques
Yeah.
around this new awareness that I've brought into your life and how it's had an impact. So, firstly, I want to speak a little bit more into NLP, so neuro linguistic programming. So, as I mentioned, neuro is the mind. So, this whole concept of NLP, neuro being the mind, is all about how you currently think, right? And is that thinking actually supporting you? If you didn't know, we have a conscious mind and we have an unconscious mind. And we live 95% of our day in our unconscious mind. Now, if you're not sure what unconscious mind means, think about driving a car. You just do that unconsciously. Like, you don't have to think about, Oh, now I have to turn on my indicator. Now I have to look in my rear vision mirror. Now I have to change my gears from second to third if you still drive a manual. Yay, all the manual drivers. Oh, I have to I have to press the brake now. Now I have to accelerate. Like, you don't consciously think about all of those steps. You just
No,
do
they
it
just happen.
automatically. And
Yeah.
so that comes from your unconscious mind. Now, if we're living 95% of our day in our unconscious mind, what are all of those stories and drivers that are playing out in our life? Some are great, yet some aren't so great. And this is the work that NLP digs into, right? Is we dig into the not so great stories that maybe are affecting how you're showing up in your day. So
Yeah.
that's the neuro part. And there's more about the mind, right? I'm not going to spend heaps of time on this. The linguistics is language, and I'm super passionate about the linguistics element and the language and the communication, because I hold the belief that communication and language creates your reality. What you say to yourself internally, so again, these are the stories that you say to yourself. I'm not good enough. No one loves me. I can't have that. Oh my God, they're judging me. Like, they're all the internal stories that creates your reality. So we unpack language and communication. And then the P, programming, are all about the programs and beliefs that you currently run your life through. Now, programs and beliefs predominantly are taken on between the ages 0 and 7 from your parents or from your environment. Now, there is no right or wrong, it just is, right? And your parents or whoever raised you were doing the best they could at the time. And so, of course, they were going to install their beliefs onto you. And now, as you are all adults, perhaps those beliefs no longer serve you. And so we get to unpack that. So that's the NLP framework. And the beautiful thing is that it's all very much individualized based on who you are and what type of life you want to live. So we thought we'd unpack that a little bit more and allow Zoe to also speak into her journey around, I guess, being exposed to NLP and communication and language and mindset tips and tools and hacks, and how, I guess, it's changed your life, Zoe.
Yeah, it really has completely. I feel like from an outside perspective, you've seen so much change in me. I know myself, there's been a huge amount of change. Just my responses to different situations, the language that I use, and I do also have to catch myself out every now and then. It's just, it's like you came and you rearranged a few things inside my brain, and now I see things very differently. So there'd be times, and I'm just going to use this as a very like basic example. There'd be times where the kids are taking forever and I might get delayed, or traffic or something like that, and I'd get myself in such a tiz, and then the rest of the day was just like a write-off and we start spiraling. Whereas now I'm like, okay, this delay might be preventing me from being somewhere I'm not supposed to be at a certain time. It might be just constantly seeing, I guess in a really basic terminology, it's just constantly seeking and seeing the positives in things. And that's not to say that I walk around and be like, oh, everything's perfect all the time and nothing ever, is disheartening or frustrating or anything like that. It's just being able to shift my state so much quicker, rather than to dwell and let things spiral out of control, and a bad minute in the morning turn into a bad hour, turn into a bad day. It's like, okay, this happened. All right, is what it is, and just keep moving forward, like in a forward. I feel like life for me now is constantly moving in a forward direction. Like every now and then I kind of get a little stagnant and then I go forward again. However, I don't feel like I have these huge like highs and lows where I'm crashing really low all the time.
Yeah, right. And there's this beautiful saying that I tell all my clients, and now you, the listeners, that the first step to change is awareness. So you cannot change anything in your life unless you have the awareness. Now, the awareness in my world will always be specific to you as an individual. So what that means is that you can't change anything about yourself unless you have the awareness around how you are creating it. So let's go back to the car example, right? And I use this a lot, like, having, what do they call it? Like traffic anger. What do they call it? There's like a saying.
Like road rage.
Road rage,
Is
that's
it
it.
road
Like,
rage? Yeah.
yeah, road rage, right? Like, it's very common. Like, people are like, oh my God, like, get out the way, move into the left lane, like, put on your indicator, right? And I can relate. We're human. We get to experience all of the emotions, and that's great. Yet it's like, how much do you want that anger in your life? And perhaps there is a traffic jam because the universe is showing you that you need to slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is
Yeah.
beautiful. Like, whether you believe in spirituality or you like things to be a little bit woo-woo, mindset work, particularly from an NLP frame, dives a little bit into spirituality. And when I say spirituality, it's really just energetics and frequency. And when you actually make sense of this and you actually realize that you create your own reality, you can create anything in your life. Now, did I used to believe this? Hell no. I remember the first time someone said this to me, Elise, you create your own reality, so just be more happy. Just be more loving, and then your life will reflect that. And I was like, oh, good one, Karen. Like, that's easy for you to say. Apologies if there's any Karen listeners. That's just the go-to name I use. It's like, that's
no shame to a Karen.
That's easy for you to say. Your life is so simple and you have the perfect life, yet you're not living in my head or my body. Right?
Victim mentality.
Yeah, like I was in effect, which is again just another little concept that you learn about, but basically I was in the pit and being the victim mode, right? And that's okay. It's just all of the knowledge and the awareness that I had at that time. And then I got sick of being in the pit and I started to get curious. I started to explore different options. And then I got new awareness. I got new learnings. Now, this is where the biggest change happened, is you can have new awareness and new learnings and new knowledge. The biggest change to create in your life is when you actually integrate them and implement it in your life. Because if you're just listening to a podcast or reading a book and not creating the change, i.e. taking the step, taking the action, your life isn't going to change. Your life doesn't change just by reading a book.
What you're not changing, you're choosing.
You're choosing.
Yeah. I love that.
Great quote.
She went viral for that statement.
Yeah, right? And this is where sometimes people really want the change, and what is holding them back is the fear.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing is that there's ways to release fear.
Yeah, even I have had my own experience with releasing fear, and it took me 30 years of being alive on this planet to let go of a lot of fear that I was unconsciously carrying around. And that was with the work that I did with you. And even we were almost a year in, and finally I was like, I'm ready to let go of this fear that keeps holding me back. And we did a release session and worked on that. And the things that came through and came up was things that I didn't expect, and realizations and new perspectives that I had on it all. And I've noticed now in my reality and in my day-to-day, like, things don't petrify me. I make decisions and I don't sort of second guess them. I jump at opportunities and I don't worry so much about the failure of things. I've only got today, just focusing on today, so taking it for what it is. And I find that in itself has been completely life-changing, because I've now been able to have huge leaps forward in my life in different aspects. Like, a lot of what I wanted to work on this year was career, relationships, environment, and it's like I'm taking all these massive steps forward and there's no fear that's sort of getting in my way.
Yeah. And it's really great, right? Like, you'll never hear me say remove fear, because we actually want fear. Like, we need all of the emotions in our life, yet it's all about how much is fear gripping on in your life? How much is it actually stopping you from saying yes to the job? How much is it actually stopping you from swiping whatever way on the dating apps and maybe just going out for a beer? How much is it stopping you from exploring a new hobby or sport? How much is it stopping you from starting a business? Right? And then that's when fear is holding on so tight, we stop living life. Now, the beautiful thing is that on some level, the fear is keeping you, in inverted commas, safe. Yeah. Because it's like, well, don't do the thing because you might get hurt. And so fear is really good because sometimes it does keep us safe. Yet there's so many people out there that have a big fat ass wall of fear up in front of them. And then they wonder why they're not happy and they don't have joy and they don't have great connections. It's because they're hiding behind this wall.
Yeah, too scared to take steps, to go out or ask the things. I think that's been a huge part of my journey with you, and just thinking back to, you know, you've watched me go through so many seasons of change in the last year, and it's been incredible. I've gone through a lot of career changes and challenges and friendship, you know, challenges. And I think the biggest thing that I've taken away is being able to actually use my voice. I've always had a voice. I've always been quite confident. However, I haven't been necessarily confident for asking for what I want or saying the things that I know I deserve, because it's like, oh, you know, oh, what if they reject me, or oh, what if they say no, or so, you know, some of the things I've been able to achieve is expressing my feelings, asking for the pay rise, you know.
Yes. Yeah, that was a great example, right?
That was a huge one.
Like
yeah.
a while ago, we're on a call and you're like, you know what? I just feel like I'm doing the level up in work and, you know, all of these other people are coming to me. And I was like, great. So can you just go to your managers and ask for a pay rise? And you're like, oh, I could never. They would say no. And I was like, well, okay, how do you know that they would say no, right? And I see this a lot. It's like we construct stories in our head and we already determine the answer before actually knowing the answer. And again, it just keeps us safe, right? So we don't have to put ourselves out there for potential rejection. Yet, what if you could actually just ask, hey, could I have a pay rise? And then give them evidence as to why, which is what you did.
Yeah.
And they said yes.
It wasn't even like hesitation with it either. They were like, oh, yeah, obviously. And I was like,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. And then you're like, and in that moment for you, it was like, oh my God, I can actually ask for what I want. And two, it actually empowered you to recognize your worthiness as well.
Huge. Because from there was a trickle effect of, okay, well, now that I actually know my worth, I won't tolerate this behavior from this person, and I will set my boundaries firm with this, you know, current situation. And it just had this huge ripple effect. That one particular, like asking for the pay rise, getting it straight away, it put so much confidence in me in so many other areas of my life that I really, like, looking back, and I look back on the last 12 months, like the situations that I've experienced, the dating, you know, different situations, or I wouldn't say relationships because there has been none. However, there's been like, I won't tolerate this.
Yeah.
And instead of like, you know, chasing after it all, like, oh, please see my worth. It's like, no, I know my worth. You don't see that. So move along. I'll find someone who will appreciate this out of me. And in doing that, it has also allowed the doors to open where those kinds of people are now the only ones approaching. Like, it's not this bare minimum effort. It's not these lowball paying jobs. It's like, now that I've gone, well, this is what I'm worth, this is what I deserve, it's like a magnet. It's like, now my energy's up here. It's like all these magnets are like, okay, we're coming towards you. And all of the ones that were sort of, you know, like further behind in the timeline or below, or however you want to look at it, they might try and approach or make an attempt. I'm going to watch my language there because we're going to talk about that one. They make an attempt to come towards me, and I'll just go, no, thank you. Like, thank you so much for the offer, but no, thank you.
Yeah, because you know more about who you are rather than what the person or the identity that you should be based on society's standards.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in that moment that you asked the question for a pay rise, you actually got to know who you were. because on some
Yeah.
level you had constructed a belief in your head and mind that you couldn't ask for a pay rise.
Yeah.
And in that moment, we broke that belief. And it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. I can actually ask for a pay rise. And even if the answer was no in that experience, at least you would have had an answer. Whereas prior to asking the question, you were just like, oh, it will just be no. And you had just created an answer, yet it wasn't truth.
Yeah, creating up a story or an assumption and not actually giving the other person the opportunity to respond.
And how much energy is that wasting? Like, if you're listening to this episode right now, I want you to just pause and just think, how much energy are you wasting in your life right now by creating up stories or narratives or answers or potential situations in your life that aren't truth?
Yeah.
Because fear maybe is holding you back.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So great. So great. And you mentioned just try before.
Yeah, well, we talk a lot about language and how important it is. So I would like you to tell our listeners about the word but and the word try.
Yeah, great. So, like I said, I'm really passionate about language and linguistics, and you learn loads more about this, and particularly in your own communication when you work with me or you're exposed to NLP. Yet there's two big ones that I see, and this is try and but, right? So we're going to go with try first. So if you're just listening to this and you can see something around you, and even if you're in the car, perhaps just pause and pull over or come back to this. The word try doesn't exist. There is only do or do not. So if you have something around you in your awareness right now, I want you to try and pick it up. Just try and pick it up. Now, I know probably 100% of you have picked up that thing. So did you try and pick it up or did you pick it up? And if you picked it up, then you've just shown yourself that you just did the thing. So there is no try. Because even if you try to pick it up and then you actually don't pick it up, you've chosen not to pick it up. There is no try. Now, why, Elise? Why does try even exist? Try exists to make yourself feel better for not taking action. So I tried to get up this morning at 4 a.m. and go to the gym, yet I was too tired.
So
but at least I feel better. I feel better because I did try. I did try and get up at 4 o'clock and go to the gym. But it was too cold, it was too wet, it was too dark. But that's okay because I tried. You didn't try. You just didn't do the thing. Yeah?
I set my alarm and then I snoozed it. And I didn't get up.
Yeah, so try really is just an excuse for not taking action. So we're going to remove try. So just do the thing. Take action.
My loophole there is that we attempt.
We attempt.
I find myself saying that a lot. And particularly with one friend of mine, we catch ourselves, and I've worked with you and she's worked with you, and we go, oh, what would Elise do? Or how would she reframe this? And then we catch ourselves having a conversation. We say, oh, I tried to do this. And we're like, oh, we attempted to do it. And I'm like, that's our little loophole. Completely cheating. Still doesn't work like that. You either do the thing or you don't do the thing.
Exactly. Right. And I love that. What would Elise do? Like, I hear it a lot, or in my client's head, it's like, I had you in my head. And I'm like, yes, my job here is done.
Yeah.
And then the other one is but. So you hear this a lot. Yeah.
I'm still shocking with it.
Yeah. And that's okay. And, you know, with this language and communication, like, I really just want to preface that, you know, it's okay if you say these words. Again, it's just about bringing awareness into your life. How much are you using these words, again, to keep yourself stuck or to keep yourself in a position of not creating the life you want? So with but, it basically negates. So negate means remove. It basically removes what you have said previously. So this is going to be an example. So Zoe, your hair looks fab today, but I don't like your top. Right? And so from a mind perspective, the mind only hears the last bit that you've said. So the mind hears, I don't like your top. Zoe completely removed your hair looks fab today because it had the word but. So it just deleted the first bit of that sentence. So instead of saying but, you replace it with and. Hey Zoe, your hair looks fab today and I like your top.
I don't really like it. Oh, I like your top.
I don't really like your top. Yeah.
I don't like. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And so what that does, you go.
No, you're right. You go.
you go. So what that does is it's like, hey Zoe, your hair looks really fab today and I don't really like your top. There's like a more equal approach rather than, hey Zoe, your hair looks really fab today, but I don't like your top. Like just even energetically, it's like, oh, she doesn't like something about me. Yet when you put in the word and, it's like, oh yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's like when people are insulting you or, internet trolls or even in person, they go, no offense, but, and then they proceed to tell you what they don't like about you. And it's like, well, we've disregarded the fact that you've just said no offense because now you mean nothing but offense.
Yeah.
Like you mean, I've just used that word again. Now I've got myself all muddled up because I was like, you mean nothing but.
Yeah.
You mean nothing.
And
no, that doesn't work.
Yeah, it can be a little confusing, right? And then this is where I just kept it simple because this whole NLP work, mindset work, communication, linguistics, programs and beliefs are very much tailored for you, right? And some of where you're listening to this app today, which I feel like is a really great app, some of this is going to relate. And the beautiful thing is that when you work with someone, it's very much tailored to you. And so the beautiful thing is that when you make sense of it for you, it's like, oh, okay, cool, I get it. Now, you'll still hear me say but and try. That's okay, I'm human. Yet, me, I'm very conscious around my language. I make conscious choices and very intentional about the language I use. And as long as I'm aware of that, that's great. And if I make a mistake...
also you notice, like I notice as well when I say the words but or try, I'll be like, oh, hang on, rewind, and then I'll say the sentence again, it's intended. Yeah.
Yes. And this is purely the reason you bring this awareness into you and you make a conscious effort, i.e. you're aware of it and then you change it, is because the universe will reflect what and who you are.
Yeah.
What and who you are is what the universe gives you. And again, this comes into NLP, comes into energetics, comes into frequency, comes into woo-woo, spirituality, whatever your flavor is. The universe will match who you are. So there's this beautiful concept that I teach in my mindset containers, which is perception is projection. I'm not going to talk about it on this app because it's a little bit in depth. Yet basically what that means is your reality reflects who you are internally.
Yeah. That's a massive truth bomb, and it can be quite a hard pill to swallow as well. I know when I first started working with you and you started saying things like that and working on perception is projection. Projection is perception?
Perception is projection.
Perception is projection. And I would be sitting there going, oh, but this is happening and this and this and this and this. And it's like, yeah, because I'm creating that. And as soon as I did the work and changed, I now look at my reality and the things that I even witness. I witness more kindness in the world. I witness more generosity. I witness people valuing and appreciating one another. And so my whole reality has completely changed as well.
Yeah. And it's not because Sally's changed or because Karen's changed or because Barry's changed. Like they haven't done anything. It's because you have changed within. And so the universe will reflect that. And so if you're sitting there listening to this, just have a think about what certain examples or situations or experiences are happening in your life right now. And if they aren't so great, a great question to ask yourself is, how is this me? And you might not know. Yet if you're experiencing a lot of people being angry in your life or a lot of fighting or a lot of frustration, how is the anger you? And what I mean by that is, where is the anger within you?
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah, it
powerful.
can be, it's hard. And when you internalize it and look at it and you go, okay, I'm seeing this in my reality or this in my external vision, or like however I word that. I'm not very good with my words this morning. And when I look at myself, like, for example, when I see a lot of people like gossiping or being unkind to one another, I then immediately go, okay, where am I not honoring myself, or where am I being
Yes.
unkind to myself, or where am I even
Yes.
being unkind to others, and why is it being mirrored back to me?
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
the first question is always about self, right?
Yeah.
It's always about self. And this is a big limitation that I see a lot in my clients, is that they're always doing stuff for others and not for themselves. And then they're wondering why their life is a little bit of chaos and a little bit shitty. It's because they're giving everything to everyone else. And life and this whole concept is all about self first, which can be hard, particularly if you've been a people pleaser,
Yeah.
i.e.
I
past
was
version
one
me.
of those. Yeah, i.e. past version me.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
Yay. So yeah, there's so much more to unpack. And the beautiful thing is that if you're resonating with this, like, send us a DM, connect with me, go and do your own research around NLP, or, look at some of the links in the show notes. And I guess a last little tip that I would love to leave with you, the listeners, today, is around language, mindset, you as a person, is start focusing on what you want rather than what you don't want. Now, for some of you, I know this is going to be hard because your programs and beliefs and your language is all focused on what you don't want. I don't want an angry partner. I don't want to be poor. I don't want to be living here. I don't want to be in this job. Yeah? And that's just based on, again, the programs and beliefs that are running through you right now. Flip the script. Flip the coin. Focus on what you do want. So maybe write down a list of, okay, well, what is it that I want in my life? And sometimes this can be challenging because you've never even had the awareness until now of actually focusing on what you actually want.
Yeah. My little tips there is I've got in my bathroom 4 post-it notes, and it says, the things I want in life, little, I guess, daily mantras, if you like. And then also I have a vision board. So I'm constantly looking at my goals. I'm constantly like, I want to be wealthy. I want to be successful. I want to be in a loving relationship. And it's constantly focusing on what I want and the good things rather than focusing on what I don't want, because when I was like, oh, well, I don't want this and I don't want that, that's all I was attracting. That's all I was having.
Yeah, the universe matches it, right? So last little quote I'm going to leave you on: where focus goes, energy flows. Everything in the world is energy, and that's scientifically proven. So what you're focusing on, you're giving it energy. So where focus goes, energy flows. So for this next week, focus on the things that you want in life.
Yay. How exciting.
This is a great app. We hope you loved it. We're so excited for you to tune in next week and bring you more wild, worthy, unhinged, good tips, and great banter.
See you next time.
Bye.